Power Rangers are one of my favorite children TV shows, even if I haven't watched all the episodes. We all know that we get to see them morph into different Ranger colors to fight and defeat the villains to save the Earth or the galaxy, no matter what it takes. So what I'm gonna be doing is to talk about the 5 Power Rangers games on Game Boy Advance. There will be 4 aspects. I will rate each game on to get the overall score, which are graphics, sounds or music, levels, and Megazord fights. Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, but anyway, let's get to it. First game is Power Rangers Time Force. The game's main villain, Ranzik, has escaped capture and destroys the Red Ranger as he plans to take over the past. To stop him, the remaining Rangers travel back to the 21st century and look first for someone who could take over as the Red Ranger before reviving the original. Before starting on any level, the Rangers explore the city to find out on what buildings are the mutants breaking into with the help of Circuit, a mechanical owl which also aids the Rangers throughout their battles by acting as an information source. Once the Rangers encounter the mutants, they travel to different time periods where they must be followed and fight the foot soldiers disguised as different beings before finally confronting the mutants themselves they are after, both in a boss fight and Megazord fight. The graphics look mostly great from the models of the 6 Rangers, the mutants, the foot soldiers, and the backgrounds, though the Megazord looks off and isn't as good as the others. The sounds are lacking since most of the time all I hear are the music of the levels aside from the villains taking damage, the explosions that occur when the Rangers perform their special move. Some musics of the levels sound monotonous and I don't feel any sense of excitement, but there are exceptions though. I don't have much to say about the side-scrolling levels since those aren't the best but not terrible either. At least I could feel some sense of enjoyment from it. The Megazord fights aren't any special either. Once you fill up the yellow bar, you can launch your final attack on the gigantic mutants to destroy them. The other 4 games would play better than this. Here's my verdict. Second game is Power Rangers Wild Force. The game has you play 6 Power Rangers to stop the 7 orcs from terrorizing Turtle Cove, some other places, and from attacking the Animarium, which are the Rangers' base. The gameplay is different from the others. It's not a 2D side-scroller, but it's an isometric perspective beat-em-up. You get to select a Ranger to be played throughout each level, with the other 3 that you can summon. Each Ranger has different weapons to use on their enemies and on the ways they can help you as well. You also get to explore some parts of the levels after you destroy a specific number of putreds or foot soldiers before boss fights. It is important to have your health and energy meter full to have a better fighting chance against the orcs. The graphics look pretty good as the environments are colorful and are great to look at, and the Rangers and the other characters may look small and pixelated, but at least they didn't provide a distraction from all the fighting the Rangers go into. And let's not forget about the Megazords. They look great too. The sounds are much better here, and I don't know why I get the feeling of satisfaction whenever I hear the orcs take damage from the Rangers' weapons. The music is also an improvement. I think the isometric beat-em-up gameplay works well for the levels, and I never get bored because the controls work well, and it's fun to hit the enemies and summon my teammates for help or make the Rangers run around the levels. The Megazord fights are one of my favorites in this game. You get to unlock 7 different combinations of the Megazords, and when you hit the orc 6 times, a pattern of buttons will appear on the screen, and you must press the flashing buttons at the right time to make the Megazord perform a special move. As the first Game Boy Advance game I have ever played, it's actually a great start, so here's my verdict. Third game is Power Rangers Ninja Storm. You get to select 3 types of Rangers in this game. First are the Wind Rangers, which consist of Red, Blue, and Yellow Ranger. The Thunder Rangers, which are Crimson Thunder and Navy Thunder Ranger. And the Samurai, which has the one and only Green Ranger, who are all out to stop Lothar and his other villainous companions. All Rangers actually get to take more parts since you can switch from one Ranger to another, so whoever gets to battle some of the enemies and bosses is up to you. Each have their different special abilities that is best saved for the boss fights, as long as you don't waste it by not hitting your enemy with it. The gameplay returns to side-scrolling action, and you get to choose 2 kinds of weapons for the Rangers to use, be it a sword, a blaster, or a flamethrower for the Green Ranger, which can all be leveled up. However, the game's difficulty decreases when you get hold of the blaster, since you can shoot most of enemies and bosses on your way throughout the levels, and it will be hard for some of them to get near to hit you, but it's fun though. If you want a challenge, you can still switch to a sword, which you can obtain by destroying boxes that contain Ranger weapons. The graphics look pretty good here as well, now that we get to see the models of the Rangers and enemies more clearly. The sounds are also good, the music is good, but not as good as the music from Wild Force. The Megazord fights play different here and fails to provide the same amount of enjoyment I had from the previous game. Instead of the button mashing, we get to see one of the 2 buttons appear on the different sides of the screen, whether up, down, left, or right, like other players. It was also hard for me to get past these levels, but after playing it so many times, I figured out that you need to press the button that is indicated on the screen along with the position of the button by using the D-pad to get the Megazord to attack. I didn't like it at first, but then I started to get used to it. Fourth game is Power Rangers Dino Thunder. You get to play as 3 Power Rangers in this game who are under the mentorship of the Dino Thunder Black Ranger to fight against Mesogog, his foot soldiers, and his mutated creatures to keep Reefside, or more generally the world, safe. The Black Ranger gives the 3 Rangers the task of going to different parts of Reefside to accomplish specific goals and to make the White Ranger join their team, which will be helpful to foil Mesogog's plans. These specific goals are what makes the levels longer, though it won't make you very bored. The important thing is to keep your eyes focused throughout the levels. I don't have much to say about the graphics and the sound or music, as both aspects of the game are already impressive enough. It's disappointing that we never get to play both the Black and White Ranger on the side-scrolling levels, as well as the lack of variety of these levels since we repeatedly visit these places. The Megazord fights return to the button mashing style, and not only that, it can also move faster when approaching an enemy, and I almost forgot to mention that you can also select different combinations available for the Zords to be attached to the left or the right side of the Megazord, with some unlocked from the Black Ranger puzzle levels, which can be a challenge, but not in a bad way. Last but not the least, Power Rangers SPD. The Power Rangers Space Patrol Delta, trained by Commander Anubis Doggy Kruger, battle against Emperor Grum, who plans to take over the Earth. The game consists of 8 episodes where you get to play as 6 Rangers equipped with their own special abilities. The main levels are side-scrolling beat-em-up, the Rangers fights the foot soldiers, and encounter boss battles. There are also racing levels, where you get to control Rick, the robotic dog, the Delta Runners of Red, Yellow, and Pink Ranger, including the Delta Runner of the Green Ranger for the shooting levels, where you will have to shoot the rockets being fired at the buildings of New Tech City, which reminds me of the classic Space Invaders. The gameplay levels, just like the other 4, are basic. The graphics overall look great, and now the sound and music are more impressive here, as the Rangers have their own. Even if they are repeatedly played, it makes me feel like prepared to kick more butts. The Megazord fights are fun enough, but can be tough if you don't know how to block your enemy's attack. It's also a great game, but just like the others, I wanted more. If only the developers could put everything on the limited storage of the Game Boy Advance cartridge. Now that it's done, let's view my top 3. Honestly, it was hard for me to decide between Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder, but after observing what those two games did better on, I gave the slight edge to Dino Thunder. I'm still enjoying playing most of these games, and we can always change the difficulty level for more challenge. They may not be the greatest games to play on the handheld system, but most of these games are good enough to spend our time on, since most of the people I know own copies of these games. So before I end this video, I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I know some of you want more. So stay tuned and let's see how many more I can make with this free time I have. Leave this video a like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Lucas out.